This woman is telling us how prayers work. I'm not into prayers. I don't think prayers are helpful. Prayers are basically something that some entity is feeding on. That's why it's pray or pray. I've said that many a time. But we're going to see what she says and break it down as best we can. So let's see what this woman has to say.
I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer.
See, this is the other thing as well, and this is an insight that I've been having recently. You know, all this cancer, pain, suffering, you know, and this is supposed to be like a school where we learn lessons, and yet we have, you know, young people getting brain cancer and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too down on it all because it's depressing enough, but we have to question what this realm is, and what we're told it is, especially in the New Age, doesn't seem to add up. And here we have this woman whose mother is already sick. Now she's been diagnosed with brain cancer. And it's kind of off topic, but all of these people are absolutely ravished with chemotherapy. And it makes my heart break because they put so much trust and faith into people with white jackets. It's incredible. They hang off every word. And they're out there on their video saying, oh, our team's been so good, you know, they're so helpful, they're doing this for us, they're doing that for us. But they're terminal. They're losing their hair. They're in incredible pain. They're being advised to take chemo all the time, which we know not only kills the bad cells, but the good cells as well. And people are just going along with this and thinking they're being helped. And worse still, they're getting on their channel and kind of promoting the whole thing to everyone else. And then to make matters worse, you have the people in the comments section saying, guess what? Pray for you, sending prayers, all this stuff. We're seeing it now with the fires. All you see in the comments, we're praying for you, I'm praying for you. What good does that do? When it really annoys me. What good is that doing anyone? Okay, you're going to say a prayer, right? So you're going to say a prayer to some entity that's going to feed on that energy. And meanwhile, what these people really need is real life action. They need real life solutions and ideas for the problems. But instead, religion and religious people, they're kind of lazy. They abstain responsibility and give it to some deity that they have no proof of. And I'm not atheist, but they're giving their power away and they're giving responsibility to this deity. Meanwhile, these people aren't being helped, because if praying worked, we would have world peace, we wouldn't have children with brain cancer, and their prayers would work. And then, of course, they tell you that God works in mysterious ways. So he's very selective over what prayers he answers. And he'll allow things like child cancers, but he'll also let, you know, child abusers run the world, right? And that takes you on to the whole idea of karma. You know, I've spoken about that in videos. Where are these people's karma? You know, I don't see it. Like, they're blasting people from the sky with fire. I don't see their karma coming anywhere. Does anyone else? Anyway, I digress.
My mother and I began to pray.
You tell some people that they have cancer, already their mind is thinking about death, and that maybe accelerates it a little bit. It's hopium. It makes people feel better. And that's what people say to me, yeah, but, you know, if it makes people feel better, then, yeah, but what would make her really feel better, or what would be really helpful, is taking real world action. So let's just remember, she is highly religious. She's already getting parts of the Bible being read to her. So this is her rigid belief system when she goes into the astral, when she has her experience. So already we're seeing, and this is why I mentioned it before, she has a rigid belief system in religion when she dies. Jesus shows up. Mother Mary shows up. Now, if her thing was angels, Archangel Michael would be there. You know, if her thing was something else, Arcturians would be there. But because she's religious, cue Jesus. Jesus, can you come out? She's ready now.
Of their prayers and I felt
She felt the energy of their prayers. What kind of energy is that? That's what I would ask. Is it false light energy? This like drug that people often experience when they pass? This kind of ecstasy feeling that's very hard for people to turn away from because it makes people feel incredible. The love bombing.
reception from Jesus and Mary. I knew that they were indeed listening to those prayers and that there
Oh, they'll be listening all right. You can't deny that must feel incredible. You know, she's just passed over. She's got this deep affinity to Jesus. She's getting roses and petals thrown over her, and she's being love bombed. It's no wonder that people are being recycled round and round again, because they're met with such deception and manipulation that ties into the very things that they believe in and love in their physical lives. This is why I'm saying to people, it's so important that whatever your belief systems are, you need to work your way through them. Religion being a huge one, because religion will be used against you like it's being used with this woman. Because what's happened now, she's back down here on Planet Clown World. So these beliefs are matrix beliefs, and they don't care what you believe in, as long as you believe in something. And again, sad to say, but I'll say it, this extends to these entities masquerading as loved ones, deceased people, pets even. And so personally, what I'm going to do is, much as I love my family and friends, and I don't have what I would consider rigid belief systems in that sense, I'm going to enjoy them in this lifetime, but I'm going to leave that at the door. And then, you know, maybe we meet somewhere else in some other matrix. And I know that's harsh for people to hear. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, because then they're going to be used against you by these entities. I really feel sad for people like this, because she's been given that experience, or shown that experience, and she already was highly religious. She was already knee deep into this matrix program, which is Jesus and religion. And now through this experience, not only has she become someone who promotes the matrix, because through videos like this, she's reassuring people that it's okay. When you pass over, Jesus is going to be there, and it's going to get a lot of souls probably recycled again. So she's being used, which a lot of these NDEs are being used. A lot of them are being told that they have a mission and purpose to spread this information, and it's very harmful, because we know that what she's seeing isn't the full picture. It's just part of the soul trap and the way that these entities masquerade and shoehorn you, guilt trip you with the life review, and then guilt trip you back down, memory wiped, for another round on Planet Crazy. It's inherently evil. There's no other word to describe it. You cannot sugarcoat this information. It's like a bitter pill that once you've swallowed it and digested it, you can move forward. You can feel more empowered, and ultimately you have the potential to liberate yourself entirely from this matrix. But if you are in your emotions, and you are triggered, and you are rigid in your belief systems, and a lot of people watching this video would have turned off way before I've even said this. As soon as I start calling out things like Jesus, they would have skipped past this video. Those people are in danger of being recycled. There's no easier way to put it. There's no fluff or, new age way of saying it. If you don't work out what goes on at the point of death and what you are going to do at the point of death, then you have a very big chance of being recycled back here. And people watching this video, her video, that don't know any better, all it's doing is reaffirming the idea that, don't worry, when you pass it's safe and Jesus is going to be there. and people are just going to go with it. But my point really was the fact that it's sad as well, because any potential that this lady had, and her energy's nice. I mean, I bet she's a lovely lady. But sadly, being nice in this matrix doesn't really get you any far. I'm not saying that you have to be evil, but you have to. People have to harden up a little bit. And this lady, through this experience now, is even more entrenched in her belief systems than she was before. So it would actually take a proper miracle for this lady to actually wake up to things like the soul trap, the false light, the life review, and everything else that they do at the point of death.
Because upwards, I could see many spirits. I could see angels.
Cue the angels. Cue the angels. We've used Jesus. Can we bring in the angels now? I mean, they're all showing up, aren't they? Angels, of course, inherently tied to religious beliefs. I mean, if you're into that stuff and you see stuff like that and you're getting love bombed, it's very difficult. The algorithm has thought, right, okay, what can we use for this woman? Let's use angels, Jesus, and she's very tied up with her lineage, her heritage. So this could be another reason why these people are showing up in that scene. But I made a video about what I'm going to do when I leave the Matrix. You can look that up. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it because there's a lot to unpack. But essentially, the message in that video is your consciousness is like a car, and what these people do is they let other people drive their car. Well, most of them don't understand that they're consciousness anyway. And so what I'm saying to people is, look, you have this car, which is your consciousness. You control where it goes, and what happens. But these people, they're waiting to be told. They're waiting on what other beings are telling them to do, and they're not taking control. And if you don't take control of your consciousness, the Matrix will. And even when you study these NDEs, you hear of people that are kind of uncertain, and then the Matrix will come in and play its game. So you have to be very definite and intentional when you're driving your car, just like you would your physical car. You're not sort of there dilly-dallying saying, should I indicate left, or maybe I should change into second gear. No, you do it, because if you don't do it, the consequences of that are going to be not very good. And it's the same thing with our consciousness. We've got to take the steering wheel, take the gears, and we're driving it to where we want to go, which is, I assume, out of here for most people. But she's there waiting for people. Oh, am I here? What? And trusting these beings. Who are these beings? She doesn't know them. They've just shown up. But because they're in this, in Glastonbury or the UK, and she's all hung up about that, and the angel was there. She's hanging on every word that they're saying, and it's dangerous.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is serious, but not in the way that you think it is. Your version of serious is just, engage with anyone that shows up based on rigid belief systems that you developed in your physical life. It's way more serious than you could ever imagine, which is where the soul trap and the exposure of the soul trap comes in. This is why it's so important to do these videos.
The state that we die in makes all the difference.
Exactly. And what you learn in your physical life, you take on when you pass over. And I say it all the time, ignorance doesn't die when we die. If you can't be bothered, or you're too much in your emotions to listen to content like this, you'd rather sit around, watch a Netflix series, and you want to die in an ignorant way, in ignorance, that again is going to be used against you. So what she's saying is actually really true, but she's headed down a cul-de-sac with it.
Live on this earth plane.
Light years that we live on this earth plane. She's saying we've been here light years, guys. And people say that this isn't a soul trap. From the horse's mouth. Oh, but it's a school. Don't forget. It's where we grow. It's where we learn to grow. It's where we learn lessons. Yeah, right. And then they wipe our memory, so we forget our lessons. And that's the other thing. That's why it's so important to get it right this lifetime. Because if you go through that process again with your memory wiped, who knows when the next opportunity is. And I'm not saying that to spread fear in people. I'm just saying it's like she says, it's incredibly important, but not in the way that she means.
And what we do, how we treat others, how we actually live our lives is the most important thing.
Yes, the main goal in this life, as one of my subscribers said so correctly, and it's stuck with me ever since, is learning how to die properly and learning how this matrix works, how it operates, how we can transcend it, how we can make this experience an enjoyable one before we leave. I just want to make that point. I've made it several times before. You know, this information and this matrix, we shouldn't let it bring us down. We shouldn't let it get us depressed, angry, sad, because that then feeds into the whole thing. So we need to move forward with knowledge. Knowledge is power, and we've got to make the best of it. You know, it's a little bit crazy out there. I'm not saying it's not, but we have to do that. So one of the things that I try to do with this is I try and enjoy my life as well. And I think everyone should do.
With our behavior patterns.
So this is the whole life review. Now she didn't say that she had a life review there. Maybe she got an insight. But this is what they do. It's the whole guilt and shame. The whole idea of karma. That if you study these life reviews, you'll know that they show people the worst times in their lives where maybe they upset someone. They forget all the good ones. Maybe they show one or two times where they were good. But then they'll really hone in on the times where you maybe had an argument and upset someone, and they'll use it. They'll say to you, "We're not judging you, but you're judging yourself because they're showing it to you on the screen." And then, of course, they get you with the karma and you know, the idea of hell, right? Well, you know, if you go back down and resolve your karma, you know, you might get to our level next time. Or, well, if you don't want to go to hell, you can go back down, relearn the lessons again, and then the memory wipe, and then you're back round again.
With every choice that we have made. And this is why it was so important for me to see my mother through to the very end, because she was severely disabled, and there was a chance, if she were placed in the wrong hands, that her final days, her final years would have been very difficult and possibly lived in great abuse. I became so much more aware of the state that this planet is in and the abuse
So what are you going to do? Pray for people.
of nature towards those who are sick, disabled, elderly, and that changes need to be made because we are heading in the wrong direction. Cruelty and the judgment, the greed,
Yeah, never judge. Can never judge anything. If there's one New Age concept, or religious concept, I don't know if it's in religion as well, that winds me up the most, it's the whole idea that we shouldn't judge. I mean, I've said before, the whole idea, if you don't judge, then you are not going to be able to discern information properly. You're not going to be able to discern a person properly. You're not going to be able to make good decisions if you don't judge. And they tell you don't judge, but everyone judges. We're always judging. When you meet someone new, you're making judgments. It's human. It should be human nature. So the very thing that they tell you not to do, we should be doing more of. Now, I'm not saying if there's, you know, I don't know, like an overweight person, you should like stand there and look and point. And no, I'm not talking about that kind of judgment. But the reason that we're in this mess is because we haven't been judgmental. So it's a complete inversion, what they tell you with the New Age concept of non-judgment and religion.
is not in God's divine plan.
God, who is God, and his divine plan that put your cousin in a car crash, that gave you cancer. I mean, there's no solution there. Anyway, guys, that's that. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please don't forget, give it a like, share this information. It's very important that everyone hears this kind of information. So, and yeah, I think that's everything. So yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.